It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Oh, yes, it is time for Mornings at 8, and here we are at 5 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning. That's right, Thursday, which is practically Friday. Close enough, you know what I mean? Okay, well, it's another foggy day out there. Foggy, low-lying clouds and all that, and, but it is beautiful. Here on Ashby Hill, okay, we are like above the fog here, and boy, it is gorgeous. What a gorgeous morning out there. A little chilly. That's right. We in greater metropolitan Almond had an overnight low of 37. It was 37 this morning when I got up, so yeah, it's just a little chilly, but that's okay. That is this time of year, and here we go. So, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul was in Hornell yesterday. Very, very nice. Very good. What else here? Oh, yes, that's right. Now, Brian mentioned this either yesterday or the day before. This is Thursday. I don't remember when. Sometime this week. There's going to be a fundraiser for Hornell fireman Chris Cartella, and that'll be October 18th. That's a Friday. So circle that date on your calendar. There's going to be a fundraiser at the main place at the 7 o'clock. It's $15 a ticket. And if you want to find out more, you can call Shannon Buckley at 382-0816. 0816. Now, you know, a firefighter, when you think of it, if your house is on fire, you know, and the fire department's called and they come and they put the fire out and all that, but, you know, a firefighter is risking his life fighting a fire. You know, I mean, they're trained and they train and practice constantly, but it's still a very, very dangerous job, you know. Most people, when you see a fire, they go the other way. A firefighter approaches the fire. Right? Okay? So Chris had a stroke, and he's lost the use of his right limbs and is unable to work. Now, the prognosis, we're told, is good. However, he has a long and very difficult road ahead of him as he works through the physical and occupational rehabilitation. So it's going to be a long and tough road for him. And, medical bills, wowee. So anyway, you can help out. This will be October 18th. It's a Friday. Okay, if you want to help out a firefighter. And they are, well, you know, as I said, if you're fighting a fire and you're risking injury at the least, or maybe your life, you know, at worst, they are real heroes, and they really are. So it'd be a nice idea to help out the Cartella family. And there you go. That's coming up October 18th. We will remind you of that again. Well, let me see. You know, it's so hard to do satire or parody, because you can think of the most far-out scenario and really go for it. But then, many, many, many times, it's outdone in real life. So how do you do anything like satire or parody? Because real life is probably the strangest thing, such as, now this week I mentioned twice about this climate change thing and global warming and all that stuff, and how teenagers are afraid, and AOC, an ordinary chowderhead that wakes up at 3:30 in the morning worrying about climate change. And a recent poll by the Washington Post and the Kaiser Family Foundation found that, 6 in 10 teens, the teenagers, about 6 in 10 teens say that thinking about climate change makes them afraid. 6 in 10 are afraid of climate change, just thinking about it. And the poll also found that 9 in 10 teenagers are convinced that humans are causing global warming. So 9 in 10 teenagers know that humans are causing global warming. And wow, plus tomorrow, this is Thursday, on Friday, 1.1 million New York City school children, 1.1 million, have been given the okay to skip class and protest global warming. So the New York City Board of Ed says that 1.1 million school children, it's okay if you skip school, just walk out, that's fine, protest global warming. That's really strange. And then was it yesterday I had a story about there are now climate anxiety groups. Climate anxiety groups where people who were afraid of global warming and climate change sit around and tell everybody how anxious they are and how depressed it makes them. I mean, it's like a real thing. These people sit around and exchange, talk about their emotions and how climate change makes them very depressed and all that stuff. And this is a real thing. I mean, this is a real thing. Climate anxiety groups are the new self-care. That's pretty weird. I mean, that is definitely out there. But, NBC News. NBC News has a new project. And I'm not making this up. It's called NBC's Climate Confessions Project. Confessions. As in a confession. The only confession I could think of is, like in the Catholic Church. But this is NBC's Climate Confessions Project. And now you can check this out. You can check this out for yourself. I mean, as I said, I'm not making this up. And on the lead page or the home page or something like that, it says, even those who care deeply about the planet's future can slip up now and then. Tell us, where do you fall short in preventing climate change? This is NBC News. Even those who care deeply about the planet's future can slip up now and then. Tell us, where do you fall short in preventing climate change? And that's how the thing starts out. And then there's a place you can click on. Is the Confessions page, where you type in how you have sinned against the planet. As I said, I am not making that's what that's what I mean. It's hard to do satire. I mean, how do you exaggerate what is over the top in the first place? Here was one poor lady who said that she flies across the country to see her son on the West Coast. And I live on the East, reads The Confession. Another one, I drive to work even though the bus is almost as fast. I often feel I have good excuses. Another person. And another one said, I wish I had been born a vegan, and then maybe it would be easier. I can't seem to give up eating meat. Good grief. So that's really far out there. So it's called, that's right, now I found this on the Daily Caller. However, Fox News has another take on it. It's great. NBC's Climate Confessions Project. So you can confess your climate something or other. I don't know. Okay, now this is from Fox News. They go into a little more depth here. Okay, NBC News raised eyebrows on Wednesday, this was yesterday, after launching a climate confession section meant to gather anonymous admissions of alleged guilt from those whose actions do not help the environment. Okay, let me see. Tell us, where do you fall short in preventing climate change? Do you blast the AC, throw out half your lunch, grill a steak every week? Share your anonymous confession with NBC News, the page reads. So then you click on that, and you have the option to fill out your own confession, or you can view the anonymous confessions of others. This is real. This is real stuff. And how do you do satire when this is real? Now, some of the people have the right spirit. I kind of like that. So another one, somebody said, I eat meat every day, and I won't stop because it's good. Okay. Another wrote that they drive 80 miles to work every day. That's good too. One person says, I like my house to be 85 in the winter and 55 in the summer. Deal with it, hippies. And another had a similar confession. I run my AC 24/7. I'm not going to sweat to appease this climate religion. And there's the key word. Whoever it was nailed it right there. It's like a religion. This climate change is like a religion. And the climate change deniers. That's a denier. As in what? Holocaust denier. I mean, this is serious stuff. This climate religion, and that's what it is. That's totally weird. I don't know. Anyway, so that's, and you, as I said, you can check this out for yourself. The NBC, let me see, what was it again? The NBC Climate Confessions Project. So there you have it. I mean, this is real stuff. However, let's go the other route. This is from Fox News. Doomsdays that didn't happen. Think tank compiles decades worth of dire climate predictions, which never happened. In the first place, we have AOC, that's right, an ordinary chowderhead, as recently said that, Miami's going to disappear in a few years due to climate change. The United Nations is convening a climate action summit next week, and climate activist Greta Thunberg is on Capitol Hill this week telling lawmakers they must act soon. But while data from NASA and other top research agencies confirms global temperatures are indeed rising, a newly compiled retrospective indicates that doomsday rhetoric is perhaps more overheated. And I'd like to point out right now, the Earth is 4.3 billion years old. Right? 4.3 billion years old. And how do we know what it was 4.2 billion years ago? Or a billion years ago? Or 10 million years ago? How do we know? You don't. Right? It's cyclical. It goes up, it goes down, the temperature goes up, it goes down. I don't know. So anyway, that's that. Let me see. As I was saying, the conservative-leaning Competitive Enterprise Institute has assembled a lengthy compilation of apocalyptic predictions dating back decades that didn't happen. Okay? Let me see. What are some of these here? An Associated Press headline from 1989 read, Rising seas could obliterate nations, according to UN officials. That's right. The article detailed a UN environmental official warning that entire nations would be eliminated if the world failed to reverse course by 2000, which was, of course, 19 years ago. And if you look at a map now, I think all these nations are still here, so that takes care of that. Also, then there was the fears that the world would experience a never-ending cooling trend in the Northern Hemisphere. And that claim came from an international team of specialists cited by the New York Times in 1978. Okay, so there's going to be a never-ending cooling cycle or trend in the Northern Hemisphere. And that was in the New York Times, 1978. And we have more. Just years prior, Time magazine echoed other media outlets in suggesting that another ice age was imminent. Telltale signs are, and this is in quotes, telltale signs are everywhere in Time magazine, from the unexpected persistence and thickness of pack ice in the waters around Iceland to the southward migration of warmth-loving creatures like the armadillo from the Midwest. The magazine warned in 1974. The Guardian similarly warned in 1974 that space satellites show new ice age coming fast. And that was in 1974. Here comes an ice age. How about more, even further back? In 1970, the Boston Globe ran the headline, Scientists Predict a New Ice Age by the 21st Century. The Washington Post, for its part, published a Columbia University scientist's claim that the world could be as little as 50 or 60 years away from a disastrous new ice age. Some of the most dire predictions came from Paul Ehrlich, a biologist who famously urged population control to mitigate the impacts of humans on the environment. Ehrlich in 1969 warned that everybody would disappear in a cloud of blue steam. Whoa, what was he smoking? Anyway, that everybody would disappear in a cloud of blue steam in 20 years. How about, according to the Salt Lake Tribune, Ehrlich, warning of a disastrous famine, urged placing sterilizing agents into staple foods and drinking water. Whoa, that is pretty creepy stuff. Anyway, so you add all this stuff up. There's more. Wait a minute, there's more. That's right. In 2008, ABC released an ominous video about what the world would look like in 2015. As the video warned about rising sea levels, a graphic showed significant portions of New York City engulfed by water. And of course, Al Gore himself famously said in the early 2000s that Arctic ice could be gone within 7 years. And at the end of 7 years, Arctic ice had undergone a period of expansion, although recently it has been melting at a quicker pace again. So there we have it. And yeah, okay, so all those things are going to happen, eh? Or they happened years and years and years ago, right? So we're all dead right now, apparently, right? It's weird. I mean, it's just absolutely weird. So, yeah, be very, very afraid of climate change. Sure, sometime maybe like next week or something. Okay, insurance, everybody needs insurance, especially if an ice age is coming, or maybe the globe is warming, or who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, everybody needs insurance. That's the point. And you can't do any better anywhere on this planet than the Ryan agencies. They have offices in Hornell, Jasper, and Wellsville. They are local, as I just said. They have access to many insurance companies, and they find the best rates for you. They're insurance experts. They offer sound, unbiased advice, and they don't work for any one company, which is a good thing. So they have access to all these companies, right? And they find the best company and the best deal for you. They are the Ryan agencies.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
Checking Major League Baseball games of note. The Houston Astros clinched a playoff spot with a 3-2 win over the Rangers. They also picked up their Major League leading 100th victory of the season. Garrett Cole earned his 18th win on the mound. He also struck out his 300th batter of the season in the process. Cardinals over the Nationals 5-1. St. Louis moves 3 games up on Chicago and Milwaukee for first place in the NL Central, with the Cubs losing to the Reds 3-2 in 10 innings, and the Brewers falling to the Padres 2-1. Chicago and Milwaukee are still tied for the second wildcard spot in the National League. A's over the Royals 1-0 in 11 innings. Homer Bailey and 3 relievers combined on the 4-hit shutout, and Mark Canha gets an RBI walk-off double. Oakland's lead on Tampa Bay for the number 1 wildcard spot in the American League remains at 2 games because the Rays got by the Dodgers 8-7 in 11 thanks to an Austin Meadows solo home run in the 11th. Yasiel Puig gets a walk-off RBI single in the 10th inning, lifting the Indians over the Tigers 2-1. Cleveland remains a half game back of Tampa Bay for the number 2 wildcard spot in the American League.
From the Fox Business Network, AT&T is considering spinning off or selling DirecTV. The Wall Street Journal says the company is looking at various options as cord cutters drop their connections to cable and satellite services. It's even considering combining DirecTV with competitor Dish Network. DirecTV may be shrinking, but it still contributes a sizable amount of business to parent company AT&T. AAA says next week is the time to book travel deals for Thanksgiving and Christmas. In fact, September 25th begins a booking window to find flights for the holidays. AAA says the best option is usually to fly on Monday of Thanksgiving week. Stocks closed mixed after the Federal Reserve, as expected, lowered short-term interest rates by 0.25 percentage point. The Dow closed up 36, NASDAQ dropped 8, the S&P up 1 point. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosolda.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head, just over $30,000. That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. Optima Tax Relief. They're the best in the business.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744.
Optima Tax Relief. Today at Simmons Rockwell Nissan in Horseheads and Hornell, New York, you'll find brand new 2019 Nissan Sentra SV models equipped with 16-inch alloy wheels, rear monitor, push-button ignition, and cruise control for just $15,999. Shop Simmons Rockwell Nissan in Horseheads or Hornell. Simmons-Rockwell.com.
Well, there is good news this morning. I thought I just had a look. I just had to keep looking at it. It's got to be here somewhere. Something's got to be good. This is really good. It says this is from the Hindustan Times. Sometimes you really got to go far afield to find good stuff. But this lady is, how old is she? She is 103 years old. And at 93, when most people are having a hard time walking, this lady discovered she could run. And it was fun. Now she's 103, and she's a sprinter. She's won medals at World Masters meets, and the happiest she's ever been. And she lives out of a suitcase, because her name is Man Kaur, Man M-A-N and K-A-U-R. So Man Kaur, whatever she is. Anyway, that's her name, Man Kaur or something. She's 103 years old, and she sprints. She's a sprinter at 103. Wow, and she says she's looking forward. I'll be 105 when I run the 2021 World Masters Games in Japan. And she excelled at the last games in New Zealand in 2017. Now, this lady runs every single day. I mean, she runs and she sprints. So she gets up, she trains at 7:45 in the morning. Her breakfast is light and comprises seasonal fruits. That's it. So she snacks on dry fruits and seeds and wheatgrass juice in between. And she sips water all day long. So this lady is she's 103 years old, and she's a sprinter. And she says it's never too late to start doing what you really love. And boy, you really got to admire that. That is pretty cool. And she trains with her, is it her son? I think it's her son. Yeah. So her son, she's 103. Her son is 83. So she trains with her son. Wow, that is really something. That is absolutely something. And she says when she's on the road, which she is a lot, she prefers steamed rice and something called dal, D-A-L. I have no idea what that is, but that's what she eats. And boy, whatever it is, it's got to be pretty good stuff, you know. Oh, she also eats Russian yogurt as an energy booster. But nonetheless, you know, the lady is 103 and she runs, and she's a sprinter, a champion sprinter. I think that's pretty cool. And from there, we go to the other end. And this is from my ever-expanding catalog of however have we made it this far as a species. Here's another one. Okay, there's a 19-year-old girl in Nebraska. And she breaks up with her boyfriend, right? So she's going to burn all his letters. Now, imagine that. A letter? I didn't know that people wrote letters anymore. But he sent her love letters, and she broke up with him, so she's going to burn these letters. So she uses a butane torch, okay? Uses a butane torch to burn the letters. And then she left some of them on her bedroom floor and took a nap. These letters eventually catch the rug on fire, and then the room is on fire, and if you're going to burn love letters on the floor, be sure you put the fire out first, okay? Anyway, so she got out okay. There are no injuries, but it caused about $4,000 damage to the building, and then she received a ticket for negligent burning. I didn't know there was such a thing. Anyway, so there we go. Okay, that's it for this morning's show, and I will see you tomorrow at 8:05. Bye.